Hey guys, it's Alicia here, and I'm in the kitchen today making some chili in my crock pot, and thought I would bring you along. So what I wanted to start with first was that I wanted to show you that I'm browning, see if I can show you here, browning some ground beef here on the stove top. I used to use a pound of ground beef and a pound of sausage, and I don't do that anymore. Somewhere a couple years ago, sausage just started tasting weird to me, kind of like it had a cleaner in it or something like that. So I stopped using sausage, and now I just use 2 pounds of ground beef, and I just season it with some stuff so it kind of takes the place of that sausage seasoning that you're kind of missing. So I use when I add to it, I use this this Montreal chicken, and then what I also have that I put in it is the same thing, but it's not in the package, but it's that same it's steak seasoning. Is that backwards for you? It's steak seasoning is what my thing says. That's just in one of my spice containers, but it's the same brand, and it looks the same like this. It just says steak seasoning instead of Montreal chicken, and it's got a different color, I think maybe red in that diamond right there. So that's all I'm gonna put in here. I'm gonna brown up this ground beef, and I'm gonna add some onion, and I'm gonna chop up a green bell pepper to put in there too, and then I will see you back here when I get it all in the crock pot and show you what else goes in there, okay? All right, you guys, so I got my meat and the onion that's cooked into it and the green bell pepper here into my crock pot. Excuse the steam. And I thought I should probably give you a couple of disclaimers before we continue this. One, this is a large crock pot. I think it's a 5-quart. I'm not positive. I tried to look and couldn't really find anything on it that told me. But it makes a whole crock pot full. So you will very likely have leftovers if you make this recipe. I love that because I'm going to use it tonight. We're going to have Frito boats, and then I'll freeze the rest, and we'll either have chili sometime when the weather's actually cold here, or maybe have chili baked potatoes or chili cheese dogs or something. I'll have chili in the freezer cooked and ready. The other disclaimer is that this is not spicy. It's not like your 5-alarm chili cook-off chili. This is like your family friendly. You can add spice if you want, but the stuff I use has the chili flavors, the warmth, the Mexican-y, not cumin, chili powder, but it's not spicy. Okay, so you can add spice if you want, but I just wanted you to know that up front because some people love spicy chili. So I have my 2 pounds of ground beef in here that I have seasoned very well with those 2 seasonings I showed you. And I maybe use a couple tablespoons. I don't know. I kind of just pour some in and then check it and taste it and see if it's flavorful enough on its own before I add it to the chili. Okay, and then at this point, I'm going to add some beans and some other things. So normally I use what would be the equivalent of 4 cans of kidney beans. Now, I don't buy canned beans that often unless they're dirt cheap. I usually buy dry beans. I cook them in my Instant Pot, and I freeze them in bags like this. This is about the same amount that's in a can. I use 2 cups. So I usually use 4 cans of kidney beans, or the equivalent of, and in this case, this was the only kidney bean I had left in my freezer. So one of the things, I'm gonna go ahead and use these, but one of the things that I noticed, if you watched my goal video and my menu plan video, in fact, I forgot to mention this in the menu plan video, in trying to use up stuff in my pantry, I noticed that I was really high on pinto beans. I had a lot of pinto beans, dry ones, that I need to use. And so the other day, I cooked some up in my Instant Pot, and I kept out, knowing I only had 1 thing of kidney beans and needed 3 more things of beans, I decided I would use pinto beans for the rest of this. And I have substituted black beans before, or like Great Northern or cannellini beans. My family prefers kidney beans, but it's fine. It's fine like this too. So I kept 3 of these out in the fridge to use today because I knew I was going to use those, and I put the rest in the freezer. So I'm using the equivalent of 4 cans of beans in this recipe. So in this, just today, because this is one of those things that you kind of use what you have on hand, it would be 3 cans of pinto beans, 1 can of kidney beans, if you're using the canned equivalent. If you can your own, that would be awesome. I don't have a a pressure canner. Someday I will. Someday in the next year or so, hopefully. So my beans are in here. I'm gonna add some tomatoes. You can add, I'm using crushed tomatoes today in one big can, or you could use 2 small cans. You could use diced tomatoes. I've used that. With the tomatoes, I kind of just go with what's on hand. And I actually didn't have much on hand, so I bought this today in my grocery haul to use specifically for these. And then I also used 2 cans of the tomatoes with green chilies. This specific one I get at Aldi, and I like this better than the Rotel. I don't know if you have an Aldi near you, but if you notice the inside of the can is just a can. Not only are these cheaper, because Rotel for some reason are expensive tomatoes. They're more than $1 a can, so I only buy them when they're on sale. But I actually, now that we have an Aldi, I go there for these because not only are they cheaper, but if you notice the inside of the can is just a can. Rotel has the white lining inside. That white lining has BPA. So I prefer these both because they're cheaper and because they don't have the BPA. So that's just like a bonus, you know? So 2 cans of those. So that would be the equivalent of 2 regular sized cans of tomatoes and 2 cans of tomatoes with green chilies. See how it's getting full? This makes, I swear, it cooks down a little bit and it's awesome. And you don't have to mix it that much until you're done. So don't worry about the fact that it's taking up all this space. So now I've got beans and tomatoes in there, and I'm just gonna add some seasoning. So this is what I use for my own taco seasoning. So you could use an envelope of taco seasoning if you have that, but I don't buy that. So I use a tablespoon of chili powder. And I just kind of sprinkle it around because, like I said, it's kind of hard to mix this, so I don't mix it till the end. And then my teaspoon measure, 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And then 1 teaspoon each of oregano, paprika, and garlic powder. Oh, I forgot, I use cumin too. I need to get cumin out. Let's see if I can get the cumin out without bumping you, because you're right next to my spice cabinet right now. Here we go. Cumin. So see, I was right. I do use cumin in this. Actually, I'm just gonna use what's left in there. I have more out in the garage that I need to get. So at this point, it's all here. I'm gonna add, my tomatoes were not salted today, so I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. You can always taste at the end and add more. Then this goes in the crock pot on high. And I do anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Right now it's 12:30 and we'll eat sometime between 5 and 6, so that'll be perfect. And it'll be all ready to go then, and I will see you then. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, if I remember. Hey guys. It's bright out here. I was just out here in my garden picking some green onions to go on the Frito boats tonight, and it occurred to me that if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in food stuff. And if you're interested in food stuff, you might be interested in knowing that I have a food blog where I share way more recipes than I do here on YouTube. It's dailyration.net, and right now if you go there, on the right hand side in the right column there's like a sign up thing where you can get a download with 5 free broccoli recipes, and in addition to that it puts you on my monthly newsletter list, which has more recipes. And the newsletter list has exclusive recipes that I don't put on YouTube. I don't put my cookbook. I don't put them on Facebook or Instagram. They're exclusive just to my newsletter recipients. And I'm sending out a new one next week, early next week. All of the newsletter recipes feature a fresh, in-season fruit or vegetable. And so next week's we'll have apples, and it's apple Gouda stuffed chicken breast, which sounds fancy, looks fancy, it's delicious, but it's actually not much effort and not much time to make. So if you're interested in that, head over to dailyration.net and look in the right hand side for that little broccoli sign up thing, and that'll automatically put you on the newsletter list so you can get that other recipe next week. I'm gonna finish cutting my green onions and then go excuse me, go inside. It's just about time to make our Frito boats and check on that chili. Okay guys, so I did stir the chili like maybe half an hour ago just to get it all mixed up, but this is a very full pot of chili right here, which will make enough for tonight and a few other meals. And just in case you want to see how the Frito boats are made, here's what we do. I've got the station set up. Bowls, Fritos, chili, and then toppings we have cheese, sour cream. I like both types of onions, and that's about it. You can put whatever you normally put on your chili. So you start with a bowl. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. Put some Fritos on the bottom. You can put more if you like. Sorry about the shadow. Load some chili down over the top. Bring it over here. I like lots of cheese in mine. Sour cream. Sorry if I'm shaking you with that. And then I actually like both. And that's about it.